Hey everybody, and thanks for checking out another Railfan video. As you can tell by the scenery behind me, we're pretty far from my usual stomping grounds. In fact, we're in Southern California right now. Just a few miles up that hill is actually the Cajon Pass. Now this is the first of 3 videos that I'm going to put together from this trip. I had an hour here, an hour there to check out some of the great railfanning options in the Southern California area. This first video is just going to focus on the Cajon Pass area. There's a Burlington Northern Santa Fe as well as Union Pacific line that runs through here. So hopefully we'll catch a train or 2 on each of those lines. And I'm also going to add in some just some random freight trains that I caught in the Los Angeles area onto the end of this video. The second one I anticipate will be focused on Amtrak and Union Station in downtown Los Angeles. We'll see a couple trains come and go from there, as well as a few random Amtrak trains that I also caught on this trip. And then the last video, and the one that I'm most excited for, and I think that you will be too, is going to focus on the hump yard at the former Southern Pacific West Colton yard. It's actually not too far from here, only about 20 or 30 minutes or so. So you're going to see the hump in action. We'll check out some of the facilities on the site there. And I'm really excited for all 3 of these videos. So let's see if we can get some trains to come through this area. I hope you enjoy this video. Hey everyone, I just wanted to add a quick note. I was in California the week before those deadly wildfires broke out. This video and that intro were recorded the day before those fires erupted. My thoughts and prayers go out to everyone affected by the wildfires. Alright, well back to the video. Here's a look at where we are in Rail Guide. You can see that there are 2 BNSF routes as well as a Union Pacific one. I'm set up between the BNSF lines near the Mormon Rocks Formation. I'd like to give a huge shout out to my wonderful and beautiful girlfriend. She let me borrow her car for these adventures while she was working. I only had about an hour and a half of daylight, so I was hopeful this place was as busy as claimed. This is the original Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe line. That's Interstate 15, or well, as they call it out here, the 15, going over it. I'm not sure the grades of the individual tracks, but that south track is rated at 3.2% compared to 2.2% for the north track. I'll say watching a train come down this line was pretty incredible. I can't get over that they were able to handle this steep of a grade more than 100 years ago. I'll include a link in the description with more on the history of these lines. While I was checking out this line, I noticed that there was a train on the other BNSF tracks snaking its way down the hill and about to pop out of that tunnel. I'm going to leave everything at its normal speed in this video. I will say I was very surprised to see so many empty container cars at the front of the train given it was heading over that pass. It just seems like that's inviting trouble, but what do I know? You can see the former Southern Pacific, now Union Pacific line behind our train.
SF calling, dispatcher BNSF 7375 West, coming over. Comply with signal change, stop at Summit, over.
Summit, stop indication.
Dispatcher BNSF 7375 West, coming over.
7375 West, engineer can comply with stop indication at Summit, over.
SF 7375, we got a report of a tie fire there on, looks like it's on main 1. Proceed at restricted speed, not exceeding 20 mph, past milepost 59.3. It's showing to be on main track 1, but as you get by there, let me know what you see, over.
Tie fire, main 1, milepost 59.3.
That's correct, over. On dispatcher, intern Summit, over.
BNSF 7375 West, over.
BNSF 7375 West, over.
Sir, we just went by 59.3. A pretty good little fire, but there's already a truck out here going to handle it when we go by.
That mile marker is further up the hill on the other side of the freeway. I saw several Forest Service fire crews head into the hills but didn't see any smoke.
You said there's a truck out there right now, ready to put it out, over?
That is correct, over. In fact, the Forest Department.
Okay, well, I appreciate it.
Anytime, 7375 out.
We'll follow along as the train passes where we're set up. There we see the Union Pacific track once more. It's part of the UP Mojave subdivision. Meanwhile, our BNSF tracks are in the Cajon subdivision. Here's some information on the Mormon rock formation you're about to see. They're also known as the Rock Candy Mountains. The sandstone formations erupt out of the ground with deeply eroded grooves and empty spaces. They've been sculpted over millions of years by water and the constant wind through this area. They're part of the San Gabriel Mountains and are named after the Mormons who came through this area in the 1850s, who would eventually settle in what is now San Bernardino. This is a popular spot for photography, hiking, and more. Let's watch our train cross the dry creek bed again with a wider view of the area. I couldn't bring all my gear with me, so this is from my cell phone. I must say, this was an absolutely beautiful area. Here's some shaky drone footage of it crossing too. Not my best flying for sure. Now you can see the end of the train. This is actually a pretty short one, so I'm not sure if those are helper locomotives or if they're just part of the train. Either way, I can say out of the big four railroads, I'm least fond of the BNSF paint schemes. Does anyone know what these rear DPUs are doing? I see smoke coming out of the first one. Are they applying brakes of some sort, or are they simply on and the engineer's keeping an eye on the speed? Thanks to anyone who can share some information on this type of operation. As we keep watching, you can see the valley flattens out a bit. There you can see the Union Pacific line is double tracked through this area. Our next train's on the original Santa Fe line. It snuck up on me, but I got the shot I wanted of it coming out of that tunnel.
Calling dispatcher BNSF 6789 West coming over. You guys good for main 3 over? Alright, here we go. SFDSL. West coming over. Yeah, you guys good for main 3 over? Alright, sit notification over. Cool.
I'm not sure which grade is steeper, but look at the rise of those containers in the background. Absolutely incredible. As you can tell, containers are king out here. I'm curious if anyone knows how these trains handle compared to a traditional mixed freight. I think the articulated well cars would be pretty responsive, with a little less slack compared to 2 well cars. As we watch the locomotives go by 2 more times, what do you think of those BNSF paint schemes? Do you have a favorite paint scheme for any railroad? Also, you can see the guardrail in the shot. I'm actually set up on what appears to be an old abandoned section of road. It worked out perfectly for my rail fanning. Judging by the height of that bridge, there isn't much water that comes through here. As we follow the end of the train, notice the memorial that's coming up on the side of the tracks. On February 1st, 1996, a train derailed here, taking the life of 2 railroaders. Conductor Gil Ortiz and brakeman Kevin Williams died in the incident. I believe they're represented by the 2 smaller crosses. That tall middle cross is in memory of BNSF engineer Rudy Borrego, who died a few years later in a car crash. He was actually driving on the pass after visiting the site. Several comments I read say that he was the one who maintained the memorial for the 2 men. I'll include a link to the crash report for the NTSB, but the short version is the train had no brakes except for the locomotives and first few cars due to a likely kink in an air hose. It became a runaway down the pass and toppled onto its side in that area. One point in the report calls out the FRA by saying the administration's, quote, failure to require the capability to initiate an emergency brake application on either end of a train in mountainous territory after the 1989 Helena, Montana accident and its failure to take immediate action after receiving the safety board recommendation resulting from the 1994 Cajon Pass accident may have contributed to the cause of this accident in 1996. I'm also going to include a link to a YouTube video Miles Lee created with more details on the crash and a reenactment. I love the perspective the drone shows as our train winds its way into the valley. Those tracks on the right are the ones our first train came through on. Does anyone know what the rule is regarding helper locomotives and when they're needed on steep grades like this for pushing power or maybe braking applications? About 15 minutes later, and another BNSF train was coming down the mountain. It's another intermodal. This is a short one, though, with less than 50 well cars. Check out the signal as our train gets ready to knock it down. I believe it's an automatic block signal. This shot really gives you a good idea of the elevation differences between the three track layouts. This truly is some incredibly beautiful country out here. I can't wait to make another trip. Instead of just adding the freight trains that I caught on the end of this video, I decided to create a fourth video that'll feature some intermodal action at one of the BNSF yards, as well as some of the extra freight trains that I caught. Alright, well, it's getting a little too dark and I have to go pick up my girlfriend. I hope to make it back here and spend a whole day exploring this area at some point. If you're ever nearby, I highly recommend you take the time and check out this place. The next video from this trip will focus on some of the Amtrak trains that I caught and Union Station. I hope you'll check that when it comes out. As always, let me know what you think, and if you know any spots worth checking out in Southern California. Until our next trip, I hope you have a great day.